and I grew up doing gymnastics for most of my life.
How old were you? Sorry.
I started when I was 4 years old. So I think what drives me is to be a better version of myself. I always want to be better than what I was yesterday. I want to be stronger. I want to be more confident in myself. I want to be more confident in my gymnastics. And I'm just looking to find that achievement in myself.
Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Coach Ognian and you are watching Athlete Support. Today's special guest is Szilard Szabo. How's it, Szil?
Hi, Og. Thanks for hosting this meeting. I really appreciate this and I'm looking forward to it.
You're welcome. Szil, you and I know each other from South Africa.
That's correct.
In fact, your father was my gymnastics coach and you were also coaching from the same facility. You were also a competitive gymnast. Will you please tell us more about how you started, when you started, and take it from there?
Yeah, so I pretty much did gymnastics for about 24, 25 years, a very long time. My parents owned a gymnasium and I was pretty much born into that gymnasium, and I grew up doing gymnastics for most of my life.
How old were you? Sorry.
I started when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
So quite young. And then, I did competitive gymnastics till about 25 years old. I started coaching gymnastics when I was 18. So my life has been involved in sports quite a lot, especially in gymnastics.
Szil, tell us about the reason why you stopped competing. You had an injury. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I was actually preparing for a competition. But I injured my shoulder quite badly to the point where it required surgery, and after that I couldn't get it back to the point to do gymnastics on a competitive level again, so unfortunately I was forced to stop. But I still continued as a hobby, but not as competitive gymnastics.
How did it happen? How did the injury happen?
It was kind of like a dislocation on the horizontal bar. As I was just practicing a routine, one of my grips just had some sort of a fault. And
Sorry to interrupt. For the audiences who don't know gymnastics, who don't know what grips are, can you explain what that is? What
yes,
those are?
grips are just something that you put on the palm of your hands and around your wrists, and use it for the apparatus horizontal bar and the rings, just to protect the palms and have more grip.
Excellent. So when the injury happened, you had an operation. You were pretty much at that point, from what I understand, wanting to continue competing, but the shoulder wasn't good, wasn't as stable. It was also painful. Training, was that instantly a career stopper, or did it take a few years for you to go, okay, this is not working, the shoulder is not able to sustain so much impact and compete at that level?
Yeah, so it took me a while to come to realize that I wouldn't be able to compete again, because after surgery I did some sort of like rehabilitation and I wanted to see if I could get it back to how it was. And I think it definitely helped, but I think after a few months of like regaining the strength and testing out some of the moves I was doing, I kept feeling that same pain, and that's when I knew it's not going to be happening to resume back to that competitive regime that I was doing prior to the injury.
What was the feeling comprehending that the competitive years are over?
It was depressing. It was a hard blow. It definitely took a toll on me, because before that I told myself that this is going to be one of the last few competitions that I pursue. So when that injury happened and it took me out for good, I was distraught. So it definitely took me a while to get over it and bring back my mental toughness and just get over it in a sense, but it was hard.
It's hard. Any competitor would understand how tough that is. Szilard, one thing that I would like to know, when you were going through all of this and realizing, okay, the competitive years are over, and I know you've competed quite high, like nationally, you were one of the top competitors. I think you might, if I remember correctly, you might have also been a national champion. Please remind me if that's so. Yes?
No, that's correct. I was a national champion.
You were a national champion.
Yes.
So it's a very tough thing to be in that position where you trained from age of 4 and you get to a point where you're realizing the competitive time is over and you're transitioning. I know when we met, you were coaching, assisting your father, and you were doing children classes and helping out. Was that helping with that mindset and transition and coping mechanisms? Or was that the reminder of what you lost?
No, it helped, I think. I had to find the balance between like coping and just like moving on. But it was definitely a form of coping mechanism that helped me just get through it.
Okay, so that was a positive experience.
Yes.
Szil, just to go over the background with your family. So your father is a gymnastics coach, as we mentioned. Your sister was a gymnast.
Yes.
I believe your paternal uncle was a gymnast, and he was an Olympic medalist. I think, if I remember correctly from years back, he was a gold medalist for Hungary. That's correct.
Yes.
And he was the first Hungarian to win a gold medal for his country. Is that correct?
That I am not sure of. That'll
Sure.
double check, but it could be true. Yeah.
Could be true. So you come from this all-around gymnastic family.
Yes.
And you followed through your passion, you competed, you coached, and then you got to a point where you had to move on.
Yes.
And how was that decision? You've stopped with gymnastics. What was the mental process with giving up something that was part of your life since you were 4 years old?
That's a good question. I wanted to change my career paths. So my true calling, or my deeper passion, I would say, is nature, wildlife, and just being immersed in nature. And yeah, once this injury happened, I thought maybe I could pursue something else, which is why I decided to pursue a degree in wildlife conservation in the United States of America, which is where I am right now.
Yeah, so where in America are you? Can you tell us where and which university are you studying at?
Right now I am in a town called Las Cruces, which is in New Mexico State. It is kind of close to the Mexican border, so it's south of the United States and south of New Mexico. And the university that I am attending is called New Mexico State University.
Why America, of all countries? Why study in America?
That's a good question too. I think they just have a really good student culture. Their academia is really strong, is really high. They have really good degrees, really strong degrees, and I think the kind of degrees that could prepare you for, careers that you really want to pursue.
So wildlife and conservation and ecology, where would you go with that degree? What would you like to be doing with your study after you finish studying?
So there are a few options, so I haven't pinpointed it exactly, but the ideas or options that I have are things like a wildlife biologist. So wildlife biologists could work in national parks anywhere around the world. You could work in zoos, so accredited zoos, protecting different kinds of species and wildlife. Or you can work in environments that require you to, let's say, monitor certain populations of animals or species, or protect them, or restoring habitats that have been destroyed by pollution or deforestation, or any sort of environment that needs additional help or protection or monitoring, anything that follows those kinds of guidelines.
Now, here's an interesting question. You were born in South Africa. You grew up in South Africa.
Yes.
There's a lot of animals, like driving the zoos, the game lodges. You can go just about everywhere and anywhere, and you'll find animals in South Africa. Let's start with this. Growing up, did you have pets, domesticated animals, cats, dogs?
Yes, I wouldn't say a lot. I did have some pets. I always liked exotic pets, snakes, tarantulas, anything that's weird. But yeah, I did have a dog. But one of the biggest influences for me while I was growing up was going on safaris, going to national parks within South Africa, like Kruger National Park, Pilanesberg National Park. These were some of the major national parks that I went to almost every year with my family. And it was just the most exciting adventure. And that kind of just fueled this passion for me to protect wildlife, and it just made me love, being there and enjoying the peace and the tranquility and just the scenery, the animals, everything is just magnificent to me.
So that was the one thing, is one thing about South Africa. We really do get the exposure to the wildlife, and it's hard to be indifferent to seeing so many beautiful animals. And obviously moving to America and studying wildlife, fishing and ecology would be an obvious choice for someone who comes from these parts. I understand that you are right now starting with the third year studies. You've just started the studies with the third year. Will you please tell us about the previous 2 years and experience? I know you studying with a scholarship, and what is the situation with the scholarship at the moment?
So I started studying at the community college. So this university has a community college, and I attained a degree called an Associate's in Science degree. So I attained that in the beginning of the year. And then from there, I wanted to transition or transfer to the main campus of this university. And with that, I would be able to transfer this degree that I attained and still achieve this degree in wildlife conservation. But because at the community college, tuition rates or the fees or costs are much lower than on the main campus of the university. So I was able to afford it. But transferring to the main campus of this university, I had issues attaining a scholarship. And what the scholarship would have done, it would have given me fees that would be a third of the price, which is giving me in-state tuition. In-state tuition means somebody who gets in-state tuition is, let's say they're from the state. So they are a state within, they are a resident of the New Mexico state. Obviously, me being here as an international student, I would be given or out-of-state tuition or out-of-state fees, which is extremely expensive and almost unaffordable with the way I am able to work or the amount of hours I am able to work. So during my transition phase, I was told that I was going to be receiving this scholarship. But later on, unfortunately, I was told that I'm not going to be receiving this scholarship. So it's just left me in a very difficult situation where I am unable to afford such tuition. So I'm relying on support outside of the school, such as donations or, things like that. So I'm in a very difficult situation because I really, really want to pursue this degree. I'm halfway through it. I would only need 2 more years. So it's just...
And the fees that you have to put in are coming up now mid-November, so you have to have funds by mid-November to get the next year of studying, which you already started. For all of those who are interested in supporting you, how would they support you? What do you have when it comes to a support system where they can pay in and help you out with tuitions?
So right now, the only support system where people could donate and help me is a page or a site called GoFundMe. It's just an organization that allows people to create like a page and people could donate through that page. So I have like a link that I could send out or offer. People just follow that link and you just donate any amount that you want through there on this GoFundMe page or website.
All right, so GoFundMe is the way to go for you for receiving donations.
That's correct.
I just want to ask you, with the donations, and there is a sense of emergency with that, and I know some international people who might be watching this and saying, but why can't you just work? And I just want to cover that because that's an important part so people understand where you're standing with work and what your options are.
Of course.
Yes.
So in America, as an international student, you are only allowed to be employed by the campus. You cannot be employed off of campus. So as of right now, I am employed as a lifeguard at the aquatic center of the university, and we are limited, or all students are limited to working only 20 hours a week. So you cannot work more than 20 hours a week. So that's another limit that I'm facing. And the other limit that I'm facing is I cannot work off of campus. So yeah, so right now I'm just receiving a very limited income, and just for reference sake, what I was mentioning earlier, the out-of-state tuition that I am given, that I have to pay for the school, is $15,000 a semester. And the scholarship that I was supposed to receive, which would have given me in-state tuition, would have provided me with tuition rates of only $5,000 a semester. So it's quite a big difference, and this is one of the biggest challenges that I'm facing, is to afford these rates.
So they're basically constraints that are put on you.
Yes, they're constraints. Yes, as an international student, it's very hard to pursue like an undergraduate degree in America.
All right, so we're gonna have a link down below for people that can support you through donations with GoFundMe. Is there anything else you would like to say in ending with the interview? Any message or anything at all?
Yeah, sure. I mean, right now I'm really like loving studying here. I'm really dedicated, I'm motivated, even though I've been facing a lot of challenges. I really want to pursue something like this. So anybody watching this, your support or donation, or even just sharing the link, to people who you think might be able to help me through this challenging time, it would be deeply, deeply appreciated, and I would be extremely grateful for any kind of support you may offer. offer and provide.
Perfect. I have one last question for you,
Yes.
Szilard.
Yep.
What do you like about America?
And what do I like about
What do you
America?
love? Like, what are you passionate? Obviously, you're studying there, and university is a highlight. It's something that you are passionate. Animals, obviously. But what is it that, when you think about living in America, what really gets you going? What is it that creates that passion and wanting to be there?
Well, I think where I am right now, the weather is a big influence. It's a lot of sunshine, especially most of the year. The weather, funny enough, reminds me of South Africa, so it reminds me a little bit about home, so I really like that about here. I like the student life. The student life is very open and enticing and active, and so much energy, going into it and behind it, and it's just captivating, and it's just, yeah, the student life is very different to South Africa. So I think I like that about it. And yeah.
Perfect. Szil, thank you so much. Thank you for conversing and giving people your message. And we are asking all the people out there who want to support Szil and donate money and help him finish with his studies. Thank you in advance, all of you. And let's get Szil going through his 3rd and 4th year and working in the United States of America.
Thank you so much, Og. I really appreciate this. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you
Yeah.
to everyone who watched this. Thank you.
Bye.